Hey everybody. How is it almost November? It feels like only yesterday Sarah Seberg was reminding me. I was told, well, actually it feels like only yesterday I was totally ignoring Sarah Seberg's reminder to that today's the 14th and I need to get the November plans ready for her to edit. I've now been ignoring that a little bit longer, all the way up to the 29th. So some of the programs are up. The others will come up by tonight. I promise. I'm staying down and writing right after this and then recording the videos. I wanted to record my introduction for November live here, download exactly this and put it in YouTube. Because you know what? There's so much happening right now that really was not on my 2020 bingo card. I'm sure many of you can say the same thing. I've kind of hit that point in the month where I'm like, I don't know what I can say about November that y'all would want to hear. Going back to the beginning of the year when I originally did my planning for the entire year, I was thinking November is one of my favorite months because football and playoffs and just the soothing sound, and yes, the sound is soothing to me, of Rocky Top in the background, even though I don't really watch football. There was just something about that that let me know it was time for the holidays. But generally speaking, when I think about white supremacists getting in my inbox, my head, and my house, I'm thinking of Thanksgiving and being grateful I'm not going to Tennessee this year. Somehow, all that stuff has managed to find me here. If you sent me email, I'm way behind. I opened up to this about to the staff last week that I've been getting doxxed and email bombed, and it's taking more time than usual to go through email. Rachel Nielsen, I know I was really behind on getting to yours. That was part of it. I'm having to wade through upwards of 3,000 emails per day, and there's no good bot or spam filtering system because it doesn't look like spam. It's a little coordinated. I also did not have bear traps, and that's not an exaggeration. I did not have those on my 2020 bingo card either, but we had to lay them around the house last night. And that is where I am in 2020. That is where I am in November. And maybe your year is not quite as wild as 3,200 emails a day plus bear traps at night. But it might be something close to that. It can feel just as crazy and just as indescribable and just as, what do I want to say about this? What can I say about this? Because football isn't happening and Boston just canceled April. Boston will not be happening in 2021. So that prediction I made a few months ago about, hey guys, racing might not come back until 2022. And that's only if we have, not to sound political, but it's political, a new administration that does more to contain the coronavirus than our administration has currently done. My kids found out this past week that they're going to be home from now on. We are going back to a shelter-in-place order. First, they're bringing Cheyenne home, and my oldest will be distance learning, and then the other two will be joining. And as soon as that happens, Violet will be home all day. So I'm going to do the best I can while I can, and gearing up to go back into full-time mom mode with bear traps outside and 3,200 emails inside during the day, because that's where we're at. I can't tell y'all what's going to happen next. I really can't. I normally in this time of year, I like telling you that the holidays are really hard and don't be afraid of the Halloween candy. And you know what? Just eat the chocolate and go for a run. Because the best way to get away from people that are in your house, holiday guests, is to go for a run. Better yet, go for a run and pretend to break something and get out of that holiday trip you don't want to take, but do because it's perfunctory and you have to do it and you'll feel worse if you don't. I'm like, this is not the year to do the things that don't make you feel good. It really isn't. Coronavirus gives us a great excuse to stay home and not have to see the white supremacists literally outside the door. Whether that's literal or figurative in your life, you do what you got to do to take care of yourself, whether that involves bear traps, straight up lies, turning off social media completely, or turning off the television and not turning it back on until after November the 4th. It's a weird day in a weird year in a weird time. Yeah, I know. There's 7 of them laid around the house because they've been coming around at night trying to scare us. And it's not working. But it only takes one bear trap to step in before word gets out and people stop coming to your house. Yep, love y'all a lot too. And my focus is still on you guys. I promise. My focus is still on this company. I believe in what I started. I want to let you know how grateful I am to all of you who are still here through all of this. I probably would I have started this company at this time if I had seen any of this coming? I don't know. But when I think about what this year has brought me and the beauty, there's a lot of beauty that's come out of it too. And yes, there's privilege there. So I got to acknowledge that privilege. But a phone call that I made in October, was it last year? It feels like 2 years ago, to a girl I saw getting treated badly in the Berlin Marathon and said, look, I want the running world to do better than by you, and I'm going to force him to do it. Come be my sponsored athlete. Coach Nakia is now a certified RRCA run coach, and she has been, along with Chris Zarnock, the podcast editor, Kara McGard, who does more than she should have to when it comes to graphic design, Susan, Sara, and the others behind the scenes at Fitness Protection. All the coaches have kept the doors open and things rolling while I deal with as much as I can. And I just maintain. I have been in a holding pattern, just trying to keep my head above water and maintain a semblance of sanity and normalcy, hoping that I'll still have a business at the end of this. And that's me being more honest than I have to be about everything. We've lost a lot of clients, but we've kept a whole lot too. So in 2020, the way I'm looking at my business right now is very much how I'm looking at my whole life. And I hope it's a framework that'll be helpful for yours as well. I lost a lot of people, but the ones I gained, or the opportunity I had to see people that I hadn't in a different light, it's been incredible. Nakia is an incredible badass. She is brilliant. And she brings us more to the table than I ever thought possible. Now, granted, I feel horrible in a time like this since I can't pay her, like yet another black woman doing labor for free. But she believes in the vision, and for that, I'm grateful. Which makes me believe in my vision that much more, which makes me remember at the end of each day why I started this in the first place and what we all needed, what was missing before we started thinking about what was broken, both in ourselves and in the world around us. There will be days when you don't run, and that's okay. At Fitness Protection, it's not about the runs you miss. It's about celebrating the runs you do and remembering what you needed to get out of each run each day anyway. When I think of a workout, I think of a hard workout. I don't think of a jog as a workout. That's me. That's just me. I think so if you were to ask me in a typical training cycle, I have 2 workouts a week, and those 2 workouts are the 2 hard runs. And the rest of it, it's not a workout. It's an excuse to get out of the house. It's fun. It's easy. An easy effort run doesn't tax my brain or my body or make me feel bad about myself. There's no reliable, usable data in an easy effort run to measure who I am. And there's some freedom in that. So I haven't done a workout in a very long time, but I've been running, and I'm proud of that. I don't need to see or measure. The measure for me is whether or not I get out the door on a bad day or on a good day, or if I take care of myself, whether that care comes in the form of a run or a bath or crying in the kitchen next to a set of bear traps. I haven't explained that to your children. This year has thrown us a whole lot of curveballs we didn't see coming our way. But the fact of the matter is this: we have come to November. Somehow it's already November. Somehow it's already 2 weeks since the reminder in my calendar, the reminder in my text, the reminder in my inbox, all of which I hit snooze for, saying I got to get November up. So November's going to go up today. But here's what you need to know about it. Even if you don't do any of these workouts, even if you just walk, what Fitness Protection was supposed to be was a safe place, a safe space for all bodies who wanted to move, validation on the days that they chose not to, and celebration on the days that they did. And hell, celebration on the days that they don't either, because that can be a really tough choice too, the way we've been conditioned to think. So when it comes to the workouts this month, I give you guys, because it is dark and it is cold, and most of us are bundled up more, except for Sarah Seabrook, because she lives in Arizona and it's really right there. Yep, they are a big deal. It's a really big deal. And we don't need to put metrics on it or turn them into something that they never needed to be in the first place. But I call it November nastiness for a reason. Most of us are wearing wool, heavier clothes, too much clothing, and we're not, when it's really cold or a little disorienting or just different feeling outside, it's a really big deal because we aren't aware of how fast we're moving or how hard we're going, because everything can feel so different and it can come overnight, just like at least winter felt like it did here. So I give you guys more leeway in rebuild than I normally would. You got 2 workouts, Rocky Top, which is the comforting sound I listen for during football games. And it's not really hill repeats. Hard is relative, right? Whatever, it's not about timing it or your heart rate. It's about like finding a hill, running up it real hard, getting out a little bit of aggression if you want to, you've got permission. And then jogging downhill. Now, not walking downhill. I really want you to keep that bouncing motion on your ankles as much as you can, because that's going to fire different muscles than if you were walking. So pi is the answer to everything. I'm telling you, there's nothing irrational about a pi. And I know what an irrational number is. I'm trying to make a joke there. Yay. Love fruit pies in November. Oh my God. Thank you for being here. So yeah, I want you guys to have the opportunity to go up and downhill and just go hard if you want to, or don't. And that's fine too. The second one is flag corps, not because I was in the flag corps, but there's something about seeing, because I'm Southern, and there's something about seeing flag poles hanging out the window from the local high school students, because those poles, they would take them home to practice and then got to get them back to school. And so those are the flags that I'm thinking of. But again, from a small town in the South, it's going to be, I don't know if y'all have that in the rest of the country, but I'm sure we can find some real cool photos to send to you. Or if you just follow my sister's Facebook page, she still lives in the town I grew up, you will see, because she was flag corps, you will see what the flag corps flags look like, especially hanging out the cars while kids go to school in the mornings and to band practice in the afternoons. So you've got 2 speeds, effort levels I really want you to think about, because at the end of the day, this is fitness protection is a step-by-step process of learning how to run by feel, something you've never truly been allowed to do because everyone's pressured you to try harder and push when there was no point in doing that, based off the assumption that you weren't trying hard in the first place. Fuck that. You're not supposed to try hard and easy effort run. That's why it's an easy effort run. Anyway, so you got 5-minute cruise and a 2-minute recovery. So that cruising, it's not nowhere near as hard as you want to run up that hill. It's just sort of like finding a pace that feels good and not too challenging, but it's exciting to go a little bit faster. That is it. And then recover. You should, if you have to walk to recover, then you're not cruising. And that's something I want you to think about too. So play with that. Cruise, recover, and enjoy it. You can make Monday, if you make Monday painful, please do not make the Wednesday workout painful. You guys are rebuilding. We're getting back into the habit. We're not putting more metrics or more KPIs or more focus in a place where it doesn't need to be. We just want you to have permission to do a little something that you might not have been able to do for the past few months in a time when you might not be able to do it well. I'm sorry, that's not rebuild. That is maintain. It's my bad. See, this is where we are. I wrote the plans and I still don't know, because it's that kind of morning. So that is for maintain. And in halftime show, which is the workout and rebuild, you've got a series of workouts that revolve around pretending to jump rope in place. And why? That is a really powerful thing. If you have been with me for a while, you might remember the month where I had everyone jump in place, pretend to jump rope for a minute at the end of each workout. And over the course of that month, at 5 minutes of jumping rope is the metabolic equivalent of a 20-minute tempo run. It actually is. Jumping rope is a staple of every elite and every professional athlete's workout all of the time. And it's, if you want to do that and maintain, go for it. There's no such thing as too frequently jumping rope, but you really don't need more than a minute per session. And that's why you've got a little bit more than a minute in this session, but feel free to cut that forth if ever you want to. Always welcome to do less, but we urge you to think about why you may want to do more in a day when you're tempted to do more. Is it because you feel like you should? Shaming to live in the should. We don't should around here. We don't mess around. We don't do anything we don't need to do. We don't waste energy on things that don't really matter. And if worrying about your workouts is something that you're doing right now, if you're doing that in order to distract yourself from real things that you're worried about, you got my permission to do that too. Sometimes we need to focus and worry about the silly because we can't control the big and the real. No matter where you are, no matter what you do, I promise you're going to be coached and loved by me, even if I forget what day it is and wake up and say, oh, it's the 28th. And also, sorry that there haven't been a weekly email. Our marketing person has been waiting for one for me. We're re-recording the webinar. I figure it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try to bring in new clients at the moment. So we've kind of unofficially shut the marketing funnel until after the election and we can figure out what's going on. Because no one's looking to do anything new right now anyway, but they might be on the 4th. They might be on the 20th. I don't know what's ahead. I'm taking all this one day at a time. And there are days where decades happen. It's crazy. But at the end of the day, we're handling it all as best we can. We are sane AF. And I didn't mean to talk about all these things, but I don't know how not to address the collective anxiety, the collective frustration, the collective everything that's happening in the United States right now. Because it's really hard to avoid, especially in my house, quite literally. Not trying to lay that on you, just trying to give you context and perspective. That some of us deal with the nuttiness a little bit more than others. And some days it's easier to do that than others. But if ever there a day goes by where you don't see or hear from me, I planned to do this last night, by the way, at 7 o'clock, and it didn't happen. And it's not because I didn't want it to or I didn't try hard enough. Things just get in the way. If things are just getting in your way right now too, that's valid, that's legit, that's happening. That is not a personal failure on your part at all. And if you don't believe that, go watch the Vow on HBO. It's that new series about NXIVM, the sex cult / self-improvement organization. And you'll see that some of the tactics that were used to control women and control their minds and control the group, it's a lot of the same thought and belief patterns that were put into us throughout the course of our life. It's not about misogyny anywhere. No. You just need to try harder. That reaction you're having, you can control that. You don't have to be mad right now. It's manipulative nonsense. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I'd urge you, and if you are talking to yourself, kind of like Keith Raniere and his people, talk to those women, and you'd be surprised. There's a lot of overlap. That's a pretty good sign that you need to stop. I will never talk to you that way. I'm here to validate you. I'm not going to tell you what to feel or how to deal. I'm just going to coach and love you through whatever life throws our way, even on the days when I'm silent. I'm probably being loud somewhere else. You're coached. You are loved. Let's go win at November, even if we're back in quarantine, especially if we have no race. Yeah. We've had, not gonna lie, some of the things I've been doing have been intended to take heat off of other individuals because that's what privilege means. I can take it. And in doing so, have had to show them that I'm crazy too. You don't mess with crazy people. Who puts bear traps around their house? Who would do that? Who would put booby traps around their house that would have it rigged up to, if one of the booby traps was set off, would turn on huge floodlights and cameras to start live streaming anytime anything's triggered? That's crazy stuff. Once you know how far I'll go, people tend to back off. And that's intentional, and they tend to back off the people that I'm telling them to protect. I'm trying to protect as well. I'm trying to do all kinds of things right now that we're not on my bingo card and are not in the scope of this business. But if I'm not doing them, then I'm full of crap, right? And I have no intention of being full of crap. Back in March, we did a podcast talking about how the roads aren't equally safe for everybody. And when we said I run for mod, and not only will I run for mod, I will stand for mod. I will stand for every person that mod represents who is not safe in this world. I just gotta, and if I'm not doing it at the city council level, if I'm not doing it on my own streets, then I don't deserve to be doing it anywhere. So I don't know where the balance is. I keep trying to calibrate it and find it month for month. And you guys still being here through that process with me is something I really, really, really appreciate. Thank you. I love you. I mean, your patience and kindness have made me a better person, Anna. It really does. I do go on Facebook a little bit less than before because that's where the racists like to find me. And the things I like to say are pretty terrible. So far, they stayed off my personal page, but they go there looking for pictures of my children that they can mark up and share. Whatever, they tend to share it on Twitter, so I'm not that worried. But yeah, I do come and I look at you and I look for your preaching and I look for your teachings. There's always something soothing on your page that at least reminds me that the word Christian has not been twisted into something so ugly I'd never want to hear it again. Because for a lot of people it has been. So yeah, absolutely. You don't think for a second, just because I'm not all over your page, that the things that you say and do don't make a difference to me as well. They really do. I'm there more than you think that I am. It just so happens that I can't go in my feed anymore. I have to go to like individual people because I'm too afraid of what I'm going to see in my feed. That could set me off and set me down the wrong path for the rest of the day. And that's a place I haven't been since the Kavanaugh hearings in 2016. So anyway, what your feelings are real. They're valid, as is my feeling and my love for you. Coach, you're loved. I'm going to try to get November done and get it up, y'all. Thanks again.